but I'm pretty sure there's no collision detection. But it's well modelled, and not everybody flies through bridges, do they? Greetings, fellow simmer, and welcome to some crazy sexy 4K eye candy flight sim action with me, Gripper Sim. Orbx does Sydney. This week we're looking at Orbx Cityscape for Sydney and how they implemented this add-on for this fantastic city. Thankfully they have not butchered it like they did London. For standard scenery they put an awful lot of craftsmanship and work into this. I know lots of people will be flying above, below and underneath. Are you kidding me? Orbx have since updated their London scenery and have replaced their shitty scenery with the default Asobo Microsoft scenery, which is better. Now, let's have a look at Sydney and see what they've done here. There are some improvements, but there are some disappointments as well. Let's have a look at a comparison. To the left is the default scenery, to the right is Orbx's scenery. Now, this is the North Shore of Sydney. I can't tell a great deal of difference in the North Shore, except the coastline is a lot better in all fairness to them, and you can see Sydney CBD in the distance. This is a close-up of Sydney now, and as you can see, there is an awful lot more detail here in all fairness, and it does look much better. It does look really good, and I think everyone's impressed with regards to how this looks. And you can see the North Shore there. There's a much more detail around the coast and in the buildings off into the distance. So I am quite pleased with how this looks in all fairness, especially the bridge which we're coming up to now. So on the left is the old, well, the standard default scenery. Of course, there's no Sydney Harbour Bridge here in the default. And over to the right is Orbx. Now, it is much better detailed with this height, what we're about 800 feet above the ground. And it does look, the bridge looks fantastic, you know, and there's amazing amount of detail here. Now, with regards to the bridge, I do have some things to disappoint. That disappoint me anyway. It's really up to you to decide. But over here to what's called Manly, you get the ferry across to Manly. Yeah, it's much more detailed on the right side. Now, let's have a closer look at Sydney Harbour Bridge, or Sydney Bridge. And yeah, up close. Look, okay, it's not perfect, but then, you know, you got to mind your frame rates, and I understand this. Now, the bridge is very well detailed. I'm going to fly through it here, and it's really, it does actually look very good. Something has caught my eye, though, unfortunately. I have been on top of Sydney Harbour Bridge myself. I've been right there by the flags, and I am positive that those flags were actually moving. This tells me this is old school. This is not modern. This is not the SDK. This is not PBR textures. That's not high res at all. That's not PBR at all. Again, and most of the cities like that's not high res at all. And there's a lot of stuff like this. And you know, it just looks pixelated. But having said that, I know those are not modern assets used from Microsoft Flight Simulator SDK. But will it affect the frame rates? It probably may affect the frame rates. And some of you, and you'd be quite correct, will say, we're flying high, we're not looking close up at the buildings, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't bother me that much either. Having said that, would I buy the scenery knowing what I know for the $20, 20 Australian dollars? Yeah, I'd buy it. All I'm really saying is I'm worried that developers are going to use old assets all the time and not use the full potential of the Microsoft software development kit, as already shown by Asobo and Microsoft, and developers are bringing down the standards that Asobo and Microsoft have already set. And one last thing about the Orbx scenery before I move on is that there is no collision detection in the buildings or assets in this updated scenery whatsoever. So you just fly right through them, and there's no risk involved in me flying through the buildings here because I won't crash. In any case, let's have a look at the patch and release notes from the 13th of October, just gone from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, first of all, the planes. The VFR map should no longer crash the title during a flight. Avionic screens or buttons in the cockpit should no longer be turned off randomly, i.e. a ghost cockpit. This has happened to me many times in my videos where people are commenting, you're flying with your flaps down. I'm going, what? I didn't fly with my flaps down, I thought I took them up. There you go. Now that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Crashes related to the use of the smart cam have been fixed, or the smart cam have been fixed. And then airports. NavBlue navigation database has been updated, so all your navigation data, VORs, etc. and frequencies are all updated. UI, or the user interface. Version history is now properly displayed in the marketplace and the content manager. The multiple simultaneous downloads in the content manager are better handled to prevent crashes or freezes. The packages downloads through the content manager should now be correctly loaded without requiring a reboot of the title, meaning if you download a scenery or an aircraft, you don't have to reboot Flight Sim. Brilliant. The airport icons in the world map have been slightly modified. Okay, we'll come back to those updates shortly. I'm just admiring the bridge here as I'm flying around, and it's prohibited to fly under the bridge, and it's prohibited to land on the bridge, but it looks very nice underneath. Look, they've got the detail underneath the bridge and everything. Isn't that cool? Let's turn around and do a final there. I think they've misplaced those lights, and there's no collision detection, so I can go through it. And I'm going to do a touch and go. A touch and go here before we continue on. Hold her off, hold her off, hold her off. A bit to go. We seem to be landing about 10 feet above the road magically. That's a pity. Not very good collision detection on Orbx's part. Let's anyway see if we can fly through it, but I'm pretty sure there's no collision detection. But it's well modelled, and not everybody flies through bridges, do they? Okay, let's continue on. Aerodynamics. Autopilot pitch oscillation has been reduced on some aircraft. Activity multiplayer has been deactivated in the Japan Discovery flight. It's the world. Autogen buildings' height have been reviewed, i.e. Melbourne, and tin luminance, I believe that's colour adjustment, have been fixed in all those cities in Japan, Tokyo, Hiroshima, etc, etc. Next we'll have a look at some future updates coming up for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but first I'd like to thank Drenham71 for a livery he's made for the TBM for the channel. And this is the new Gripper Sim livery, and you can download this. I put it in the description below. You simply drag and drop the folder into your community folder, and that was made easy by Jacob K. So thank you, Drenham71, for all your hard work. This is not easy to make these liveries because I looked into it and I couldn't do it, but Drenham71 sorted it out, and Jacob K made it a little bit easier for you to download it and install it. Now, the download is in the description in the link below. Do join us on our stream Sundays 9 o'clock Irish time. That's 2100 Irish local time in Ireland, and we'll see you on Sunday at 9 o'clock. So that's patch update 4. Now update 5 is on the way and will include the following and more. Fixes for night lighting. Apparently the terrain has been emitting light, so they're going to fix that. The A320 is swaying left and right. That's also going to be fixed. The pitch oscillation issue will be fixed in update 5 and update 9. That's on all aircraft. The press any key to start issue is also to be fixed on update 5 as well. It's really annoying. You go to sit down, you switch on Flight Sim, you go to make a cup of tea, you come back, and then it goes, oh, press any key to continue, and it continues to load. Drives me up the wall. They're going to fix that in update 5. Next, unfortunately though, the replay function is still missing, and that is still on the backlog, which is kind of important, at least for me, because I want to show that cool eye candy kind of stuff, the real cool cinematic stuff, so that's still on the back burner. Now, with regards to the store, there are 4 new airports on the store, including San Diego, which will be interesting, but unfortunately no new aircraft in the update. So there you go, that's update 4, and a bit of news for update 5. Not a lot of updating, not a lot of stuff that's updated really. I want to wait for the big stuff. We'll be looking forward to that. So there you go, there's a TBM flying under the bridge with the new livery, and yeah, it looks great. I would like to thank all the members. Thank you very much, guys. Every month I will put your names on just to say thank you, give you a bit of credit, and that really helps. I'm still waiting for my 3090 Ti from Overclockers UK. I don't know, I went from a number 53 in the queue to 49, so they've got 4 cards in, but there you go. I think everyone's having the same difficulty as me. So thank you guys, and I'll see you, actually, if you want to join us on Twitch on the stream on Sunday at 9 o'clock, I'd be happy to see you. And until next time, I will leave you with the brilliant Orbx suburbs for Coogee and Bondi beaches, and I'll see you next time on the Reaction Review.